hey, come on in. We are ready to go.
Are you ready?
I think so. Wednesday, January the 8th. Here's what we're working on for you this morning. Los Angeles, they are in a state of emergency. Wildfires spread right across Southern California.
We'll have the latest on the search for a Hamilton woman who's now been missing for more than a month.
And Argentine police say a 21-year-old hotel employee has been arrested in connection with Liam Payne's death. Okay, friends, we are a week into 2025, and
yes.
Brian, it's freezing cold.
The shoulders are up, and I'm getting my hands warm on my teacup here.
Yes.
Can I say this? I think it was colder yesterday.
You think so?
Because
of the wind?
Because of the winds?
The winds, yeah. The winds aren't quite as strong this morning.
Well, they looked a bit strong behind you, but maybe I was anticipating it was going to be freezing cold of what you were saying yesterday.
And you're all layered up.
And I was layered up. Like,
yeah.
Could be.
It's very cold out. It's cold out.
Yeah,
but
it is. Yeah. But yesterday morning we had wind chills in the minus 20s. So right now the wind chill's about minus 17. So that's a bit better.
Bring out the shorts.
Yeah. Come on. Let's think on the positive side here. It's a little bit milder this morning. Yeah, but the temperature is minus 10, so it is cold. Wind chill minus 17. But today it's going to stay cold. We're only going to hit minus 7 for the high. Yesterday we got to minus 4. Today minus 7, but a wind chill of minus 18 for the day today because the winds, even though they won't be quite as strong, will still stay strong from the west generally, and that's going to give the lake effect machine some strength coming off of Lake Huron. So snow squall warnings if you're traveling toward Lake Huron for the day today. But for us, no, we're not going to see any flurries. We're looking at a mix of sun and clouds for the day today, but yeah, staying cold. Minus 7 will be the high. Right now, minus 10. Talk about it coming up. Looking at traffic this morning, nothing to talk about. No collisions, no volume. Things look good. 403 Waterdown Road, nothing to see right there. Quick check of some MTO traffic cameras, give you an idea. Centennial Parkway, nothing to see there. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, all the way through Third Line. I mean, it's getting busier here than it was a while ago, but still moving nicely. We'll keep you posted. Weather and traffic coming up in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Yeah, and we're starting this morning in Los Angeles, because that city is in a state of emergency. More than 30,000 people have been asked to evacuate as fast-moving wildfires move through the Pacific Palisades in LA, and scenes of abandoned cars, fleeing residents, fleeing horses marked a terrifying night for so many, with firefighters battling to contain these flames. The fire, which broke out last night, being Monday night in the inland foothills northeast of the city, it is spreading rapidly due to extremely strong winds in the area. Officials say there is no possibility of containing the fire, and crews are focusing on just saving lives instead.
I've never seen anything. Fires were this close to the cars. People left their cars on Palisades Drive, burning up the hillside, the palm trees, everything's going. And the wind and the firemen are great, but you can only do so much.
So another blaze, which began earlier, is tearing through the Pacific Palisades. This is a hillside area dotted with celebrity homes. As people fled to safety, roadways, they became impassable, with many just leaving their vehicles and leaving on foot.
Now, closer to home, a house fire in Oakville where a cat has died and 3 people were taken to hospital with smoke inhalation. This fire started on 6th Line near Upper Middle Road around 11:30 last night. It's believed the fire started in the house's basement.
Well, it's been over a month since a 40-year-old Hamilton woman last had contact with her family, and Hamilton police to continue to investigate her disappearance. Let's bring in Simone Gavros, joining us from Hamilton's Central Police Station with some details on the situation. Good morning, Simone.
Good morning, Tim. Well, this morning, police say that they suspect foul play in this disappearance. We know that Shalini was reported missing by her family on December 10th, and the family says that the last time they heard from her was on the phone on December 4th, and she was believed to be at her apartment in central Hamilton. Since then, Hamilton's homicide unit has taken over this investigation, given the circumstances around her disappearance. Now, this is the latest information that we've received from police, given the fact this has been over a month since she has been missing. Police say that the sudden lack of contact was out of the ordinary for Shalini. She was initially reported missing with her boyfriend, who she lives with, but he has since been located. Now, the two details combined were cause of further concern for police. Police did confirm this morning that her boyfriend continues to not cooperate with them during this investigation. Detectives continue to comb through camera footage to try and track her movements prior to December 4th and up to when she was reported missing on December 10th, and it's unknown where Shalini was last seen. Now, she's described as 5'4" with a light complexion, 120 pounds, brown eyes, and shoulder-length black hair. It's also believed that she doesn't have access to a vehicle. Now, coming up, we're going to be speaking with Hamilton Police just for some more details about this ongoing investigation. But police are asking anyone with information about Shalini's whereabouts to please contact them. For now, things back over to you, Annette.
Okay, thanks very much, Simone. A Brantford woman sentenced to house arrest for faking pregnancies and fraudulently using the services of doulas has pleaded guilty again to similar crimes. 26-year-old Caitlin Braun, she was initially charged by Brantford Police in March of 2023, and she pleaded guilty to 21 charges. Less than 6 months after her initial sentencing, Hamilton Police arrested Braun last April. She's pled guilty to 4 new charges after a volunteer agency supporting parents and another doula were contacted. Braun will be back in court in March, and both the Crown and defense have asked that now she serve time in custody.
A strike that was looming to begin tomorrow in Ontario's 24 colleges, that has been averted and classes will continue as scheduled. The bargaining agent for Ontario's 24 public colleges and the union representing 15,000 faculty members have agreed to enter into binding arbitration after months of talks. The College Employer Council met this week in Toronto for mediation with the Ontario Public Services Employees Union. Last night they announced that significant benefit gains were agreed upon, but outstanding matters will be resolved by an arbitrator. Issues include work conditions and job security.
Another threat from U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. Now he's told reporters he would consider using economic force to make Canada merge with the U.S.
Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force, because Canada and the United States, that would really be something.
Now, he wouldn't deny that military force is on the table, though, when it comes to acquiring Greenland and the Panama Canal. Now, Canadian leaders are railing against the idea, with Justin Trudeau posting on X, "There isn't a snowball's chance in hell that Canada would become part of the United States. Workers and communities in both our countries benefit from being each other's biggest trading and security partner." Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre posted, quote, "Canada will never be the 51st state, period." He goes on to say, "When I am Prime Minister, we will rebuild our military and take back control of the border to secure both Canada and the U.S." Meantime, Premier Doug Ford continued his American media push with an appearance on Fox News last night.
What's your problem with the United States absorbing Canada?
Well, first of all, Jesse, you know, I love the U.S., I love Americans. And I get it. You know, President-elect Trump is a real estate tycoon. He's made billions. But that property's not for sale. As simple as that. But I have a better idea, Jesse. Why don't we create Fortress Amcan and make sure it's the richest, wealthiest, most prosperous jurisdiction in 2 countries anywhere in the world?
Now, Justin Trudeau has agreed to an in-person meeting with Canada's premiers in Ottawa next week to address our country's relationship with the United States following his resignation. British BC Premier David Eby says he and his fellow premiers plan to travel to Washington as well to convince the incoming U.S. leader to back off from the 25% tariff plan.
Okay, into Sportsline. Maple Leafs entered the second half of their season last night in Philadelphia, looking pretty darn good, sitting in top spot in the Atlantic on a 4-game winning streak, and they're streaking going into the city of brotherly love.
2-pad stack, that was highly unorthodox. Here's Riley for the score! Who got the tip? It's Matthew Nyes!
You betcha, Chris Cuthbert. Matthew Nye staying smoking hot, scoring the winner in the third on a tip in front to break a 2-2 tie and allowed the Buds to sweep the home and home after taking down the Flyers on Sunday in overtime on home ice. Nyes now has scored 5 goals in the past 3 games. Austin Matthews had 2 more points. He has 7 points in his last 3 since returning from injury. And Joseph Wall made 30 saves. Might have had some luck, too, with Owen Tippett missing an open net right at the end of the game. Leafs take it 3-2. They now have a 6-point lead over Florida for top spot in the Atlantic. Leafs aren't the only Canadian team doing some good things right now, though.
Now the Bruins chipping out. Short-handed. McAvoy to Slugga. Denied! Massive stop by Stuart Skinner to keep Edmonton's 1-0 lead intact. Nugent Hopkins, McDavid breakaway. He scores!
Oh, Connor McDavid and his Edmonton Oilers are also on a heater. He scored his 16th on the power play after Stuart Skinner stoned the Bruins player at the other end. The Cup finalists, they are cruising right now. Winners of 12 of their past 15 games. Should mention Burford's Adam Henrique also chipped in with a couple of goals as the Oilers shut out the big bad Bruins 4-0. Edmonton only trail Vegas in the Pacific as those Golden Knights are the top team in the league. So with Sidney Crosby in his 20th NHL season, he is moving up the ranks in many records, breaking some as well, like he did last night as the Pens hosted Columbus. Sid became the king of the dot, winning his 15,183rd career faceoff, passing Bruins great Patrice Bergeron with most in history. He does currently hold the most taken with almost 29,000. So the league started tracking this stat back in 97-98.
Hawks don't have a timeout. Trey from midcourt to win it. Yes! He hit it! Trey Young hits a three, the buzzer!
The highlight from sports right there was the Atlanta Hawks' Trey Young not only hitting a half-court shot that won the game for his Hawks and shocks the hometown crowd in Utah, who thought they were headed to overtime. Look at this. Then Young takes off his shoes, and a lucky Hawks fan gets that sweaty, stinky shoe to take home with them. That's a real thrill. I bet, huh? Yeah, pretty cool. There you go, kid. Yeah. All right, there we go. Okay, want to finish up with this because not really golf season around these parts, so that has many taken their talents inside, which includes the pros. Last night, the Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy-led Tomorrow's Golf League, or TGL as it's called, made its debut at the SoFi Center in Florida. So this is a tech-infused league that has 2 teams going against each other with golf simulators like you have never seen before. The TGL has 6 teams of 4 PGA golfers, with the New York Golf Club facing the Bay Golf Club in the opener. Players hit shots into that screen that stands 5 stories high. And they actually chip out of real sand and they putt on real greens. It happens in front of like 1,500 people watching around. Bay Golf Club won the opener with play taking place weekly until March.
Okay, 6:13, 8th morning of January. Let's get you into the day here. First of all, it's traffic and then the cold forecast. Okay, traffic's doing fine. We got nothing to talk about on the 403. It looks good. Even up through Ancaster, down the hill, doing okay. So nothing to see right there. A little bit of a shake on the camera. Yeah, that wind stays strong today. To our MTO traffic cameras. St. Catharines, first of all, QEW, Martindale. Moving nicely, same with Centennial Parkway, nothing's changed there. Fairview Street heading toward Brant in the distance, looks good. Ford Plant all the way through the 427 Gardner QEW, nothing to see at the moment. So take it carefully, please. Oh, that temperature this morning, it has fallen again. We're now down to -11. The winds, thankfully, they're not too strong at the moment, but they will pick up once again today. They're northwest at 15, make it feel like -18 this morning. That sky is fairly clear. For school today, it's only going to climb to -7. The winds will pick up, as I mentioned, but we'll have a mix of sun and clouds, so a little more sunshine for the day today. Look at that snow squall coming off of Lake Huron. So there are snow squall watches and warnings in effect to the lee of Lake Huron. 15 to 20 centimeters of snow, so if you're driving in that area, ooh, yeah, really be careful. The winds will continue for the day today, but the good news is the winds will start to die off tonight, and they'll be lighter for the day tomorrow, and then an approaching warm front is going to pull in some milder temperatures as we get toward the weekend. So today, -5 for Niagara. -7 for the rest of the horseshoe, but the wind chills once again about -18, as I mentioned. Tonight, temperatures back down to -10 for Niagara, -13, 12, depending on where you are around the horseshoe. Look at Guelph and Kitchener, -17 overnight, so a cold night tonight. Tomorrow moderates a bit, -3, 4, and 5 degrees. Little flurry activity for Cayuga and Simcoe. Otherwise, going to be a nice, bright, sunny day tomorrow, but still on the chilly side. So out the door this morning, it is mainly clear. It is cold, -18 with the wind chill, -11 the temperature. And of course, we'll check the long-range forecast for the weekend coming up. Annette, Tim.
Long johns needed if you're working outside today, for sure. A few different layers. All right, we'll check in with Louis Butko and we'll ask him if he's wearing his long johns and preview what's coming up in Chit Chat. Also,
it's base layer. That's what they call it now.
You can't call them long johns anymore?
Base layer.
Okay. Base layer. Also in business news, a major change is coming to Facebook and Instagram. There's the always punctual.
Yes.
Louis Butko.
We were just talking about that. Well, you know what? It's, I don't want people waiting on me, right? That's,
You like to be early rather than, because I kind of like to be right on time. Because sometimes when you're early, you arrive and then you're just kind of twiddling your thumbs a little bit.
I try to be right on time.
Yeah, right?
See, I try to be so early sometimes that I have to sit in my car awkwardly so it's not too early.
Okay.
So that's me, because I don't like being late. So anyway, coming up in Chit Chat, there's a new series coming to Disney Plus that's based on a classic early 2000s movie. And we'll talk about the wildfires in LA. They've canceled many events, and a Hamilton native has been affected by them.
Really? Okay.
So we'll tell you who coming up.
Kind of the entertainment side of that story. It's huge.
Yeah, we'll talk about, because like the Golden Globes are just on Sunday. You know what I mean? If that was going on then, they would have canceled those. Okay, we'll see you at the couch in a little bit, pal. Business news. Let's get into some numbers as we always do off the top. Canadian dollar is down 6 basis points, trading at 69.6 cents US. Gold up $1.40, 26.66.80 an ounce. Crude oil up 83 cents, 75.05 a barrel. Off to Europe. Hey, Europe, how are you? It's Wednesday in Europe too. Midday trading there. Markets are up in London, Frankfurt, but down slightly in Paris.
In Asia today, the markets were down in Tokyo and Hong Kong by up very, very slightly. Just so slightly in Shanghai. Checking North American markets, so the TSX was down almost 70 points. The Dow was down 178. NASDAQ fell almost 400 points yesterday.
All right, 6:19 on your Wednesday morning. So glad you're here. Here's some business news, and let's talk Canada Post, because that's been a hot topic. They say that they have returned to full service levels for domestic parcels after the strike brought deliveries to a halt late last year. The mail started moving again late last month after the Canadian Industrial Relations Board offered more than 55,000 striking workers back to work, forced them back to work. But even though Canada Post says on-time service guarantees are back, most Canadians will continue to be impacted by delays. And the bargaining issues, they have yet to be resolved. Canada's Labour Minister announced an industrial inquiry commission to come up with recommendations by May 15th on how a new agreement can be reached.
Meta is making big changes to its content moderation. Mark Zuckerberg said Facebook and Instagram are going to get rid of their fact checkers. They'll be replaced with something called community notes, which are user-generated. The changes come on the heels of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's criticism of both platforms for what he said was the censoring of conservative-leaning opinions. Zuckerberg says the company's fact-checkers have become too political. He also acknowledged that these changes could result in more harmful material being displayed on accounts.
Okay, another quick break. Make sure you toss on that base layer before you head outside today.
Maybe a couple.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Brian has a look at how long this cool down or freeze down is taking place with our 7-day forecast.
6:24 already, the 8th morning of January, looking at our MTO traffic cameras right off the get-go here. QEW Glendale, very light volume, nothing going on through Niagara with traffic. You're starting to see some brake lights, and that's going over the Skyway Bridge, trying to get down to North Shore Boulevard. Just getting busier, normal volume. Third line still looks okay. Lauren Park through Mississauga. Here's the 403 east of Mississauga Road, doing fine through that area. Check our temperatures. Oh yeah, the temperatures are brutally cold this morning. Minus 11 for Hamilton. Factor in the winds. The wind chill right now is minus 18. Minus 8 for Grimsby, a little bit milder there, but minus 11 Toronto, minus 12 for Mississauga. You know, when we need this time of year, when it's a cold January morning, is some good news. And I do have it here with our sun times. Sunrise is a minute earlier. Sunset is a minute later now. So we're gaining some sunshine. Yay! And we are going to have some sun for the day today. Those are our seasonal temperatures and our records for today. And for school today, we should hit minus 10 for the first bell, minus 7 for after school sunshine, and minus 7 today is the high. So that's way below seasonal, and a wind chill of minus 18 with that sun. Minus 13 tonight, wind chill about minus 20, so another really cold night. Tomorrow moderates a bit, minus 5, wind chill minus 11, but gorgeous sun. Then some clouds move in advance of some flurry activity, minus 4 on Friday, minus 1 for Saturday, and minus 3 for Sunday. So not bitterly cold, actually around seasonal to above, and then we get some flurries continuing as we get into Monday next week. That's a look at your forecast. Annette, Jim.
Okay, thanks very much.
So they say a dog is a man's best friend, but for many people living with dementia, caring for a pet, it can be a real challenge.
But Jeannie, a robotic puppy, is going to change that. The company behind it, it's called Tombot, says Jeannie provides companionship and unconditional love for those not able to care for a dog on their own. The robotic yellow lab responds to touch and voice commands, even wags its tail. It'll be available to consumers later this year for about $1,500.
Really?
US. But you think of it in nursing homes and care centers, if they had one?
Okay, so
right?
then they could, yeah. It's kind of like
I know that great volunteers bring in therapy animals, but
sure,
you can't have them there
all the time. But if somebody's, then they can everybody could share them. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think it was that much. But a lot of the stuff when it comes to electronic stuff. We should mention too, Consumer Electronics Show is going on right now in Vegas. Patrina Gentili is going to be coming up before 8 o'clock with the future of cars.
Very interesting.
Like the Jetson car, maybe finally in the mix, a flying car. That and a lot more on your Wednesday morning, your chilly Wednesday morning after this.